This is the Seller Process Podcast, where we talk about the best systems, processes, and SOPs for your Amazon business so that you can regain control of your time, build up your team, and scale your e-com empire.
Hello, entrepreneurs. If you are looking to grow your brand and enjoy a good lifestyle, but you are finding yourself spending a lot of time in the day-to-day grind of the business, then this episode is for you. Our guest today will share with us how to build a profitable and semi-automated Amazon FBA business so you can enjoy a steady income while living life at your own terms. I'm joined today by Neil Twa, the founder and CEO of Voltage Digital Marketing. He has been launching, operating, and growing private label e-commerce businesses for the last 10 plus years. As of today, he and his clients have sold over $100 million in physical products, primarily through the Amazon FBA channel. Just one of his brand has sold almost 500,000 units since 2012. Neil shares his blueprint for how to build an online business that can generate a passive six-figure income in just 12 months, while setting up the business for potentially millions in sales within 18 months. Welcome, my friend Neil. How are you doing?
I'm great this morning. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you hosting me.
Good to see you again. This must be probably the third time you're in this podcast.
Yeah. Has it been that many? I haven't lost track.
Second or third, yeah, I'm sure.
I just like hanging out with you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Me too, man. So you just released a new book. So first of all, congrats.
Thanks.
Share with people what's the name, where can they find it? Just a quick one.
Yeah, so it's on the .com Kindle, but it also has a paperback copy. It's called Almost Automated Income with FBA. Build a profitable and lifestyle-driven business model, exit for millions, and make it without an e-commerce experience. So it's basically about how to create a lifestyle-driven business.
Nice. I love that, and that's why I wanna see if you can live up to the promise of this book.
Oh, well,
today.
Hopefully, you know.
Yes. And I know that you are kind of we can say like a contrarian in many aspects, right? Like you don't preach the same things that many other people talk about in this space. So I'd like you to start, breaking the ice with that. Like, how is your strategy to build an almost automated FBA business different from all the other strategies that have been used by regular sellers?
I think a lot of the strategies you hear are probably because they're marketing language. They're meant to sell and entice and create, euphoric nature and the idea of getting started. But I want practicality with people. I want fundamentals. I want them to understand the basics of business first before they apply it to any channel. We just chose to go to the Amazon channel first because it's where there are 150 million buyers. And you know as well as I do, getting started online, if you can't make sales, then you can't drive a business, and sales fixes everything. And when new people want to get started, which a lot of them do, that's one of the biggest challenges they have, is generating, eyeballs on the offer and getting people to buy their products without coming across completely salesy, because people want to buy, they don't want to be sold. So on Amazon, it's a giant buyer's market of people who want to be buying, and because they've already been sold. It's a psychology difference. And so if we understand how to go towards that person, then we kind of go against the grain when it comes to selling them. We don't need to convince them. We just need to get in front of them just in time with the right phrase, right image, right, hook, and then they will buy our product instead of somebody else's on Amazon. So really it comes down to understanding the roles that we play in this marketplace. Many people play the role of product marketer on Amazon, but that's not the role we play. We play the role of selling listings and becoming great marketers of the products on Amazon. And then Amazon is the one that delivers the products to the customer. Now, every time I say that, somebody in the comments will be like, so you're telling us to not focus on the product and just create cheap crap? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the second primary focus of your job as an Amazon seller, if that's the platform you choose to go to first. Frankly, if it's any platform you go to, you have to become a direct marketer, okay, and a direct to consumer marketer first. And then you can understand the basic principle of whatever I put in the box, I can sell regardless of what goes in the box. So my real goal then is to make sure that it's profitable, what goes in the box, okay? And of course, to make sure that I have good reviews, and to complete that cycle correctly, I have to put something good in the box. I can't put a Me Too product or something cheap I need a good product, good packaging, and I want the good review. That's just a byproduct of being a product selling engine, is to produce a good product. So make no mistake, I'm not saying sell cheap whatever crap to people. Okay, sell a good product, because if you can't market it correctly and you have a wonderful product and spent years developing it, no one will ever see it or buy it, and you'll fail. If you spend all the time trying to do direct marketing and deliver a bad product but do great at the marketing, people will give you 1-star reviews, the product will fail. So it's a clear understanding of the fundamentals of business and the balance of product and direct marketing with Amazon, and then obviously understanding the mechanisms and systems that allow you to build less time but greater scale. Everyone wants to focus on economies of scale with certain vanity metrics beyond revenues or amount of units you focus on. And it's things like, well, look how many people I hired, and look how many virtual assistants I have, and look how much warehouse space I have. And I'm like, those are all vanity metrics because they all come with a cost. Does that make sense?
Of course, yeah, and I totally agree, and I think it's a small shift of perspective, approaching this with a different mindset, that
Yep.
you're not selling on a marketplace like Amazon. You're not selling a product, but you're selling like a keyword, essentially. Like you mentioned, people will not find your product even if it's a wonderful product, but they
Yep.
might not find it if it's not placed in the
Not even
marketplace.
find it or be convinced when they do find it that it's better than the other products on there. So if we can make sure that we're great at that direct response, and we understand that from the very beginning, then we understand our role. So what is our role then at that point, and where does this kind of churn into the opportunity to create more, almost automated income? I say, people like to talk about passive income, so I'm balancing the bridge, because what is truly passive at the end of the day, if I spend 5 or 10 hours on a week on a multi-7-figure business that earns me a great high 6-figure income, and that's the time I'm spending, that's a pretty good, passive style income at the end of the day. If I can bring in an operator or two and shave off 5 or 7 hours of that to help really support certain, standard operating procedures or specific tasks that I can now, correctly outline to somebody who will do those tasks, I'm now just simply, creating more efficiencies in my model while still not creating that negative economy of scale. So I think that what I hear in the world of people preaching is not the real business fundamentals of an opportunity that creates this lifestyle by design business model, which it really has been and always has been intended to be. They go off and create more vanity metrics, and then they market and sell to them. And that sets up the wrong mindset for people from the very beginning. And I want to step back from that and say, let's do this from a practical fundamental. Let's set up the operations. Let's set up the systems and processes that allow you to do that, so that you may have 1 or 2 VAs later on to run your business, but you could be a 7, even 8-figure seller and don't need all the other infrastructure. This is not something, dude, we could even do some of these components 5 years ago. This is relatively new because of the way certain systems, maturity of the market, payment systems, and just the logistical operation capabilities of these companies. Not just Amazon, but the new AWD system they put in place, the warehouse distribution system they put in place for COVID, and more logistical companies and freight companies have gotten smarter at taking over market share away from the big boys and are able to get products moved more efficiently at reasonable prices. So all of these things are starting to mature quite fast in the market that literally weren't even there 5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk. I want to talk about the process that you mentioned.
Yes.
Obviously, there in order to create this level of automation, there should be systems, processes in place, people, eventually technology, potentially AI, automations, etc. So give us just high level overview of this process, and then we can go deeper into the most important pieces of the process.
So if we understand we're a direct marketer, we understand our role is to convince somebody who is already moving in sort of a river of traffic and put our product, our lemonade stand, in front of them to convince them to buy our lemonade instead of the guy next to us. Then we have to understand there's this constant demand of hyper relevancy going through the marketplace. Someone's interested, talked, had this, audience conversation, and they've come through, and that's called demand. And the demand on Amazon is described by what they call the bestseller ranking. Okay. Everybody wants to go for BSRs that are like sub 10,000, and they want to go sell products that match up with that. And they sort of want to jump straight into the deep end without understanding the profitability, growth, and that growth leads to scale. Okay. So they don't understand the steps. They sort of jump to the end. The problem with that is they'll typically choose products that are more in demand, but lower profitability. So the balance at step one is to ensure good demand, okay, even up to high competition with low saturation, but very good profitability. When you do that correctly and you become a brand marketer in Amazon who has more of your branded products selling, okay, not just in the system, but selling, and they have higher profitabilities than your competitors, the system is going to automatically favor you above the other brands and the other products in the marketplace. This is not a seller health account metric. This is an Amazon algorithm thing. Okay. And so if we understand those basic principles of good BSR, and for us, that's going to be more of the 50,000 range to start off with, knowing that there are products down in the 10,000 and 5,000. I want to come in and say, can I beat the guys at 50,000 first? And then work my way down into the 10,000 space. Okay. From profitable, I want to make sure it has more than $12 in profit per unit minimum, prefer 24, 36 or up. When I am doing that, I am now playing in a place on Amazon where there is a lot of demand, but the volumes might be lower, but the profitability is higher. And this is an equation that allows us to take a brand new brand and use that similarity and familiarity of Amazon to gain trust in a brand no one's ever heard of, and then go straight into that marketplace and start dominating them. We know in time, through organic growth and better metrics, we will overtake that market share with the goal of getting below that 10,000 BSR when the system has matured our data. What happens when that occurs, you gain longevity in the system. You don't have to force it. You don't have to try to out-market it. You don't have to try to go twerk on TikTok and out-maneuver it, okay? You simply let it do what it is organically and naturally programmed to do. Learn to produce the best products and move those best products into top, bestseller ranking and position. So many folks don't understand that basic concept. They try to get in the way. They try to manipulate it, try to force it, try to make it go faster than it's actually going to go. And this is a patience game now with Amazon. Things we used to do in 7 and 21 and 30 days now take 2 and 3 months, because the systems themselves have matured and they've put in more, processes to stop people from manipulating the markets. And because of that, it takes a little longer to do it. So if you're going to be a marketer, you got to understand the time and market and those fundamentals from the very beginning. What the heck do I sell? And making sure that I go buy the numbers to ensure the profitability and longevity of that product is there, which gives me profit to pay myself, profit to build the business, profit to go towards growth. Okay. And if those things take time, and everybody wants to force time. And I think in a lot of ways, they don't want to understand the system and the fundamentals of it. And they want to try to force and manipulate it. If you do that, you will pull your IDQ scores inside of Amazon down. Okay. We want to keep those scores as high as possible. Everybody starts at 100, then you go down backwards from there. The more things you manipulate, the more things you push, the more things you try to force the system, the lower your score goes. And it's much harder to regain that score, but it's a lot easier to keep it. And a lot of people, again, don't understand this concept of what the system's actually doing. They don't understand because I don't know that everybody's actually teaching them how to get the system. When you set that up correctly and you go by product and your brand becomes a whole suite, a portfolio of products that are selling, all relevant from the customer demand through in 30 seconds or less to products that are just like yours, and your entire seller health and entire account are focused on that one niche, very relevant to that one person, the whole system will be lifted up. Okay. And for existing sellers, here's a pro tip. If you have 10 SKUs, okay, and 7 of them are selling and 3 of them are barely selling and you don't think they're really good, you need to evaluate those 3. You need to make a CFO cut. You need to make a line across the bottom and say, okay, are those 3 really worth hanging on to? Are they making me enough money? Are they just spending inventory? Could I repurpose capital, and could I repurpose PPC marketing and inventory cost up to the top products that are doing the best? And then I need to make a decision to just cut them off. Why? Because they're dragging your entire health account down. But Neil, my seller health is all green. Don't care. But Neil, my products are ranking great. Don't care. You can rank them better. When those products are dragging down the entire seller health account, they will drag down the rankability and propagation of your products across the system. You look at moving those products and watch the entire account get a lift. Watch this happen time and time again. Don't hang on to your products. Okay. They serve a purpose. They're there to generate profit. If they're not generating more profit, but taking up time and energy and attention and money away from other product opportunities, or opportunities to dig in deeper to products and product lines that you should be moving across, but you're simply not doing it for capital or time reasons, that is where your opportunity is to build this brand up. So the system literally pushes for you. It is there and it is engineered to push top products and brands to its demand. And it has a lot of demand. Okay. It's still generating a lot of demand, but yet I still see people forcing the system or trying to manipulate it instead of working with it. It's like a wave. You got to go with the wave. And so the whole fundamental component of this is to ride that wave and get out of its way. And so many people want to get in its way, and I'm trying to help them stop doing that.
Got it. Okay. That's very interesting. It's you covered a lot of things. I wanted to go back to what you mentioned initially. So in general, what you mentioned, what I'm hearing from what you just said is product selection is it's key in terms of the economics of the product, and not
Product
necessarily.
data selection, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So because you're saying, that there are minimum thresholds in terms of profitability, and so you are targeting the products that are like at a higher price point in the niche. And so
Correct.
those might be those will be more profitable. So
They will
but
be. And by the way, in case
Mhm.
anybody wonders, in case you're wondering about, just not to cut you off, but just to clarify, there's actually a screen grab of this that just came out from this 2023 year that shows the products in 50 to 150 range were the most bought products on Amazon. So people think, well, no one wants to buy those product range. There's not enough demand. There's not enough opportunity. Everybody took all the good ones and there's no more. And that's actually completely wrong. Amazon's own data shows that the 50 to 150 retail range was the number one set bought products on Amazon in 2023. So we're clear.
Okay, that's great. That's a great benchmark. So then you're suggesting to focus on products that go retail price
Yep.
of between 50 and $150, and which will have, less competition, higher margins.
They
That's
may even
a
have high
big part.
competition, but your profitability is at a position now where you could earn $20 to $60 or more in profit per unit, which is way more sexy than $2 to $6 in profit per unit.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. And you're saying, of course, cutting the products that are not giving enough profits, it will drag down the whole
Yeah.
business. Also, in terms of operational thing, I think this is sound advice in terms of cutting off the operations, because every new product will demand
Trimming the
some
fat.
of your time. Yeah.
Trimming the fat off of that, which will elevate all of the product, it'll elevate all of the data within that account. All right. And Amazon is extremely smart. If you think they don't know the cost of goods for the top 100 products in every node on Amazon, you're not paying attention. If you think they don't have a good idea who's the most profitable product, not just based on the volume they're selling, but the products they actually have, you're just not paying attention. This is an extremely complicated and advanced system. And as we like to joke, it's a miracle the darn thing even works. So at the end of the day, you need to understand what you're playing with. It's not a dumb engine that is not deciding or doing things. Now, Amazon may do dumb things, as we both know, and we have to deal with those things. That's just called solving problems in business, sometimes on a daily business. But Amazon's intelligence engine, it's a large language model that has been pulling data in for more than a decade, is extremely smart. From supply chain to logistics to cost of goods to the products you put in and where you're setting, they know all that data about that. When they
What?
know that,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
what you're saying, it reminds me of a talk that I went to. I went to a conference recently, and I heard
Mm,
a talk about the number fourth or fifth in the market are the new number one, let's say, because the number one or two are so competitive. Like being in the number one or two spots in the BSR, for example, or
yeah,
in
I
your
would
sub
agree.
niche. It's so competitive that it's better to be like in the mid of page one
Mm,
instead of a top, because it's less competitive, and also you get it's more profitable. There's less PPC spending and so on. Is this also what you're kind of mentioning? Like you would go for not for the best-selling products, but kind of having multiple of the mid-range products. Is this part of
yeah.
your strategy?
It is to a degree. Like we don't see bestseller badges as accolades. Like that used to be a thing, and that's not really a thing. Why? Because they now take all the arrows. They're the first line of the hill. They're the ones that get all the trouble and problems. We've always jokingly said for many years, we're okay being number two. Yeah, we're number two. So even between 2 and 5 is going to get 80% of all the sales within those sections, those nodes or niches within Amazon. So if you're in the top, 2 to 5 within your position, and you hold that position, and you're able to gain it organically and retain it organically over time, then horizontally is where you should be moving within those, so you can take over the third or fourth position across all of those different niches. So in simple terms, yes, I would echo that, because it's been our experience, it's been my experience, that there is where you live long term. You are not in the limelight of the first or even second, in many places, products that are taking all the brunt, but you're where the third or fourth product tier would be, and still within that 80% of most sales within those areas. And you can make a great business, very profitable, with a lot less problems, a lot less customer support problems, a lot less Amazon problems, a lot less trouble with market or competitors wanting to knock you off. And because we're playing at a slightly higher barrier of entry in the retail price point, we're not going to compete with all the knockoffs. We're not competing with the Chinese knockoff warehouses that are selling direct to consumer and all the other problems people are running into. We run into them occasionally, but it's a byproduct of the business model, no doubt about it. But it's not a continuation problem of our business model. Like, it's a rarity that we run into them. So because of that, it makes it an easier, driven business model that doesn't require so much back end operations or time and management to keep it running. Right, that's where you really focus on the opportunity to grow a business that allows you to stay with your family, stay home, have fun, enjoy your time with your kids, buy back time with your family. That's one of our members the other day said that on Jason on his interview, like, buying back time with my family is the most important thing I've ever done in this business model. And those are the things that are important to me too, because that's the way I run my life.
For sure. Yeah, totally agree. And so to conclude this topic that you started with, I want to talk about the prices. You said that you're targeting products between 50 and 150, but also you're going into the premium category within that niche. So, for example, let's say there are products that range in one niche. There are products that range between $50 and $90. You try to go also in the upper part of that
Correct.
niche, right? The premium brands
tier 2 or tier 3, as we define it, 1, 2, and 3 tiers, right? Yeah.
Okay. So the strategy is not only going to the high level of high price points, but also premium within the sub niche, going premium.
Absolutely. So if I can sell a $100 product and my profit ends up being $32, let's say, after all cost of goods, Amazon's fees, storage, warehouse, returns, PPC, and everything, and I'm able to maintain, because of the type of market it is, the type of product we choose, and the data sets we're looking for, more organic sales than PPC sales, which is always our goal, as you know, to get your product into a position where the majority of your sales are coming from PPC and the majority are coming from ranking organically, say this correctly, and a minority are coming from PPC, making it so the business is not dependent on PPC to keep its organic ranking and keep moving up. Okay. The goal there is obviously profitability. If I can keep higher organic ranking than PPC, above 50% on a 50% PPC and organic, I now have a lot more profit. So I may move less units of a $100 product every month, but my profitability is staying much higher. So people are like, well, that's not sexy, Neil. If I'm moving 200 units a month of a $100 product, I can't quit my job and I can't go buy my Lambo. I'm like, well, no, but you have now understood how to do that correctly. Your opportunity now is to launch 50 more of those by just following the horizontal pattern of product variation and type and size, accessories, gears, etc., that follow right along with the reason why somebody bought that product in the first place. You build out a brand, right? Apple, Nike, etc., they all sell you more of the same product and different packaging. That's a trick we've borrowed from retail. Most people still don't understand that. They'll launch one product and take it out and find one variation and decide to go launch a completely different product and then go try another variation of that totally separate product. That is not the model we follow. It is not the fastest speed to revenue. It's not the fastest ability for you to generate new profit in a brand. It is to take and hedge, like a hedgehog from good to great, okay? Jim Collins. It's to hedgehog into that product line and find all the horizontal benefits of that product to widen your footprint into Amazon to capture more people who are like the first people that brought your first variations, and then just widen that across your system. It matches up perfectly with what the A9 engine and Amazon's trying to do. that wider footprint then allows me to create more products at different price points, some even being a little bit less in profitability, but in a higher volume, so that I drive that customer into that brand to see all the other products I have. Okay. So while we won't start out with a higher volume, lower profitability, at some point you'll want to launch one or two of them now that your brand has gone out more horizontally, because now I can drive more volume in. And with more volume, people will see more of my products. Amazon will show them to more people, and I will have the ability to reach more customers. Now I'm working on more of an average order value, which is more important. Okay. I'm now looking at my total advertising cost to sell, my tacos, not my A cost anymore. And I'm now focusing on the customer lifetime value of somebody entering my brand. And my goal is to target, and I don't hear a lot of people saying this, and I don't know why, Amazon's goal of reaching $1,000 per year on average per Prime member. That's their own stated goal. And I believe they're hitting it. So if they are, because Amazon doesn't tell us everything, but that's their stated goal, then I also want to do the same thing. So if I cannot sell a product or repeatedly sell a product through Subscribe and Save that reaches that goal, then I need more products that open up the opportunity that one customer coming into my brand will eventually be able to buy up to $1,000 worth of my products in 12 months. Now I can see, what is my customer lifetime value? Well, shoot, what am I going to do at that point, Gianmarco, when I know that I'm getting closer and closer to those numbers and I can start to track that? What am I going to do as the direct-to-consumer marketer and seller on Amazon? I'm going to go acquire more customers. I'm going to go be willing to spend more on those customers up front than you are. And that is how I'm going to win, because now I know that driving more and more of those people into my business is going to generate an opportunity for them to spend up to $1,000 with me in a 12-month period. And that is how you and I are not going to be competing at the same page anymore. And I still think a lot of sellers are down here in their mindset. There's still a lot of them that are down here in their strategies, and they're down here in their execution. And really, there's nothing holding them back except for a lack of knowledge. It's just ignorance. It's not stupidity. It's just ignorance to the opportunities that have allowed these kinds of models to scale at the growth they've scaled. One of our case studies has scaled extremely fast, up to 60 million a year, and he understood the game. He understood the model. He deployed the capital and time, and he was able to do it. And so the end result is, the system, I think, I'm seeing it over my long time being in this model, is still a tremendous opportunity, being limited by people's scarcity mindset about what it's capable and able to do.
Yeah,
and 100%. It generates 7,800 sales a minute. Okay. It's a juggernaut. I don't think people quite understand the scope and size of this engine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's madness, and as you said, it's crazy that it's happening, but it is, and we can enjoy it as long as it lasts.
As long as it lasts.
Yes.
All things change in time, but for now, there's still a tremendous amount of opportunity in this space. It's just changed. It's evolved. No longer can you sell a sub $30 product, be very profitable, and own the market share like you could 10 years ago. Like that was fun. I still see people talking about that today, and they're selling that as part of their program and course and the way you do business on Amazon. And that is no longer going to work. Amazon's FBA rules for packaging and shipping and warehousing have changed dramatically this year, forcing that to no longer be a satisfactory place for businesses and brand owners to play in. So regardless of whether you think I am telling you the truth or not, I know I'm telling you the truth. You're going to figure it out this year if you're selling those products and you haven't made any adjustments to your brands. You're going to figure it out pretty darn fast.
For sure. I want to talk before we close about the some other tips in terms of automation, because the strategy in itself, it brings more freedom, let's say, because as you said, higher profitability can reduce the dependency from PPC and so many other things that we've discussed. But having an automated business, it's not like a yes and no type of thing. It goes into a continuum. It stays into a continuum, right? So you might have a business that it's 30% automated, or 50% or 70% automated, right? So how do we increment the degree of automation in our business? What other things we can implement?
Yeah. So if you are at some scale, you should have a third-party logistics warehouse of some kind to be able to move freight and inventory at lower costs now before moving it into AWD or up to Amazon, just because of the way their new fee structure is working. So you should certainly have redundancies in supply chain and logistics, and you're definitely going to need them right now. At the time of this podcast, due to the current situation in the Suez Canal, things are taking a lot longer to move. So you got to be more strategic about how you move that. But at the end of the day, if you are spending a lot of time spinning your wheels on activities masked as productivity, you really need to get down to what are the revenue generating actions, the RGAs, that you're actually doing daily, weekly, and monthly to make this business move. Staying focused on correct supply chain and logistics and cost of goods is extremely important. That doesn't take a lot of automation. It can be more automated with a sourcing agent. If you don't have a trusted sourcing agent in that place to take and offload a lot of that work, that is one of the ways you can make it really simple. Okay. From the logistics and systems of monitoring that inventory, we use Seller Dashboard. It's very, very good at inventory management controls to help us know when to move to just-in-time inventory. This year is about just-in-time inventory. If you are not being smart, you will pay a price this year going forward if you're not being smart on this. We've done this for years and years and years, but now the system is finally saying you have to. So using a system like that to manage inventory is no longer just a nice to have, it's a must have, okay? When we have developed tools and suites inside of our system to go out and automatically find products and manage products. On top of that, we've looked at particular types of systems to help create efficiencies, AI, of course, being a big component of that, from the products to the tracking and the management of the listings. We have used Zonguru to help us go out. Love John Tilley's program and have embedded ourselves into using that as an update to our systems and processes. Our ability to compile words together has gotten stronger and creating higher powerful listings, and then tracking those keywords. Has a great tracking. Keywords on Fire is very good for tracking, and that helps us maintain and know where our organic rankings are changing, and our opportunity for PPC to rank is in the profitability index we want. We set certain metrics for our TACOS. Our tacos, we want them to stay within 8 to 15%. And if we can manage that, it's literally showing us in the dashboard that we're hitting that number, then we know how to be very smart with our PPC campaigns. Now, PPC is not something that is rocket science at the end of the day. Yes, Amazon's made a lot of changes. Yes, they've made it a little more complicated. Yeah, they're moving towards becoming a advertising and distribution company. Let's make sure we understand where Amazon's going. They're using products to sell data, and data is ultimately going to lead to advertising. And now we're seeing advertising become a prominent part of their profitability by 2026. Okay, so this is the way it's going, which means you need to become a smarter marketer than you do a product developer. Okay, I'm going to hammer this down because this is most important right now. So as we go forward with this, we use a tool called Solozo. Solozo has been a great automation tool for monitoring data, pulling in algorithmic data from existing campaigns accounts or new accounts, and helping us to see patterns and data that we can literally template into the system to allow it to make changes of rising bids or lowering bids or increasing budgets or changing or removing keywords that are not profitable. Setting it up so it's kind of an engine that just runs in the background, and we just check in to make sure that it's doing what it's doing. Okay, so that doesn't mean I need an agency anymore. Most of our clients who come in and have larger accounts and are doing PPC outsource or whatnot, we typically show them this process over a couple weeks to 3 weeks. We work them through the process, and then they discover really quickly they can fire those companies, saving anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000 a month on average by removing those companies. Why? Because their best interests are not aligned with the goals. They cannot move quickly in the marketplace, and it's taking too long for the agency to make the move. And they don't have to do that anymore when they learn how to make it more automated and spend about an hour a week just overseeing that and ensuring that it's doing what it needs to do. PPC should be considered a rocket on the engine. It shouldn't be considered the engine itself. And I know so many people get this in reverse, and then they're so afraid they can't go above 30% ACOS. And I'm not sure who made that metric up, but they are, and I'm guessing it's because a lot of people are selling in the $30 or less range. So they can't, acquire an average cost of a customer sale above 30%. We say whatever the ACOS is that's driving that, I want to go backwards and look at what my total advertising cost of sale is. Why? Because my organic to PPC cost is going to be the total ACOS, and that is going to give me where my real numbers need to be. So if my ACOS comes in at 78% or 178%, but I'm acquiring the customer, and overall my campaigns for PPC are in the 8 to 15% range for my tacos, I'm going to leave it alone. And this is where you and I are not going to be competing on the same level. You understand? Because you're going to be trying to acquire customers I'm going after for 30% max ACOS because you can't go any higher, and I'll be willing to spend up to 178% to acquire that customer. That is something you're going to have to understand as sellers who are listening to this, or if you're new, you're going to understand and get to be a part of that. Otherwise, you will not have a business in the coming years. If you cannot afford to acquire customers, you do not have a business. If you restrict your ability based on the numbers to acquire customers, you will not last in any business model, and you certainly won't last on Amazon.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. I was still waiting for. Okay, those are really great advice. Is really great advice. I think we covered a lot of the the process that we meant to discuss, and I think people also can read more in your book. And remember, guys, that you always find a downloadable resource with our podcast. So if you go to thesellerprocess.com, you will find in the show notes that Neil is sharing with us a roadmap where you can find a lot of the points discussed here in a form of a flow chart, so you can kind of double check all the steps that we've discussed, and plus there are a few more for you to check. And you can obviously learn more about his work and these strategies in his book. You can share more a little bit about that, Neil, like where people can find you and what can you offer them. You can share your contacts so people can
Yeah,
work
absolutely.
with
Well,
you.
and I should mention for you too, there's a link that we've given you, and it'll be in the show notes, hopefully, of this for you, that has a 2 scholarship giveaway up to January 18th for everybody who participates in that. So we're giving away 2 scholarships to our annual mastermind. That's a 12-month mastermind coaching and education program that works one-on-one with folks. And it's a 12-month deal. So we're giving away $10,000 scholarships to that. So there'll be 2 of those. So if you get to enter into that below, you're welcome to do that. The Kindle's currently 99 cents until the January 18th. So if you just want to grab a copy of that, it's 99 cents. There's a paperback version for $18.97 if you want to go read from about 15 different experts, including Gianmarco, who are featured in the book to talk about these processes, the way we do it as FBA experts. All of them are vetted. They're true to their word. They know what they're doing, and we featured them in the book for that reason. And you're welcome to go look at that. Kevin Harrington is a mentor of mine. He was the first shark on the original Shark series, and As Seen on TV Guide, and he wrote the foreword for the book. So I was super honored that he gave permission to do that and wrote a wonderful foreword, because the part of the processes we followed for Amazon is things that we've helped him with. So he is a part of the book as well. And so guys, check that out for sure. Check out the resources. I got a short last name, TWA. I don't hide online. It's Twa. And Voltage is one word. You can Google me. You can go to voltagegm.com and you'll find resources, information, free trainings. The PDF mind map is for free as well below. And just educate yourself and understand what you're getting yourself into. And if you have any questions and you're an existing seller, please just hit me up. And if you're a new seller, and we can talk and see if it's a good fit or opportunity for you to get into this business.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Neil. It's always a pleasure to have these chats with you. Thank you again.
Thanks, Gianmarco.
So guys, remember the key to success is to emulate the best. So take home the insights that Neil just shared with you and start applying what you've learned. Remember to download the resources at thesellerprocess.com. You will find more in the show notes or in the description of the YouTube video. So I hope this episode was shared some value with you, and I wish you a productive week, and I'll see you in the next episodes. Bye. Hey entrepreneurs, I hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something from the interview. If you're serious about creating systems for your business, automating processes and building up your team so that you can transfer the tedious daily tasks in order to focus on more high-level strategic tasks and work on your business and not in your business, I've created a guide for Amazon sellers named Capturing Systems and Creating SOPs that you can find at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook, where you will learn how to leverage systems and SOPs in your Amazon business so that you can accomplish more by working less, optimize your time, automate and delegate tasks, and reap the benefits of being a true business owner and not simply an operator in your own business. Go download the ebook at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook and start implementing all the tips and insights that I share with you. And leave us a review or a comment to let us know how the content we are sharing here is making an impact in your business. And have a productive week.